Somebody. Okay, here we go. At this time, we'll open up the Garden Grove City Council meeting. Ms. Pomeroy, will you please call roll?
Councilmember Beard?
Here.
Councilmember Jones?
Here.
Councilmember Fan?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Nguyen? Here. And Mayor Broadwater?
Thank you. Here. We went in a closed session on 2 items, and we have nothing to report on either one of them.
And the Sand District. And then for the Sand District, we have one item, and there's nothing to report.
Okay. At this time, we'll have the invocation by Kingsley, and then we will have the flag salute led to us by Chris Pham.
Okay, please prepare yourself according to your faith. Heavenly Father, we humbly ask that you bless all who are assembled here this evening and the work we seek to do. Help us to work in harmony as we seek to make the best decisions for our great community of Garden Grove. Amen.
Amen. Will you please place your hand over your heart and recite the pledge with me? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's my understanding that we have several presentations this evening.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, and I'd like Kingsley Okariki to make the presentations this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Patel. This evening, the City of Garden Grove City Council takes great pleasure in recognizing 2 outstanding members of the community for their exceptional efforts and sustained contributions to Garden Grove. They are the 2014 Man and Woman of the Year. Would Mark, Debbie, and Mahoney please come forward? Mark and Debbie. Each year, the Garden Grove Chamber of Commerce selects 2 dedicated, service-oriented individuals who consistently demonstrate community pride through volunteer efforts. It is the city's privilege to honor these 2 outstanding residents. We will begin with Man of the Year, Mark Mahoney. Mr. Mahoney is known as a true gentleman, an extremely hardworking individual. He has a can-do attitude and is very resourceful. He has served as president of Strawberry Festival Board and the Elk Enders Camping Club. He is also active in the Sister City organization and has volunteered with the Garden Grove Elks Lodge for the past 22 years. He currently holds the position of lecturing knight in the lodge. Mark's dedication to this community makes him the perfect selection as Man of the Year. Next, we have the Woman of the Year, Debbie Mahoney. She has given countless hours of her time and energy for the betterment of the Garden Grove community. She has been a very integral part of the success of the Garden Grove Chamber of Commerce's Women's Division. She has volunteered for many years as both an associate and director of the Strawberry Festival, and also served as president of the Garden Grove Renaissance and is active in the Sister City organization. Debbie is known as a great, quote, people person, someone who is always there with a smile and friendly words. Debbie has received 2 silver spoons for her outstanding volunteerism. Debbie's efforts and commitment to this city make her an excellent choice as a Woman of the Year. At this time, the Mayor and City Council would like to present Mark and Debbie with a gift of appreciation in recognition of their selection as 2014 Garden Grove Chamber Man and Woman of the Year. The city congratulates both of you for this well-deserved recognition and commends your noble efforts in bringing out the best in our community. Thank you.
You live in Santa Ana? It's a big thing.
Turn around, we'll grab a couple pictures first. And then
Ready in 1, 2, and 3. Take one more. 1, 2, and 3. Take one more. 1, 2, and 3. There we go. Thank you.
I just want to thank you so much for the honor. I grew up in Garden Grove, went to Hill Elementary, Jordan Junior High, and Bolsa Grande High School, and our 2 older children graduated from Garden Grove High School. And also, my mom and dad own property on Garden Grove Boulevard. So my heart is in Garden Grove. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We are very much honored by this recognition, and ditto what Debbie said. You know, we're very much into Garden Grove. I can walk out my front door in Anaheim and walk across the street, and I'm in Garden Grove, so I'm close. We're close. But we really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Debbie's father used to own a piece of property over in 92843 area code, or not area code, but anyway, 92843 zip code, and his tenant was a person that replaced carpet, and he started laying the carpet across the grass out there, a big yard. But if you drove by at one time, the carpet got this thick out there on top of that property, and there was a guy that used to take people on tours, and the only tour thing he did in Garden Grove was drive by that property without carpet on it. Okay, I understand we have another presentation?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we have Republic Services here to present a donation to both the city and the Community Foundation. If they'd like to come forward.
Honorable Mayor and City Council, thank you very much for having us here tonight. My name is Mark McGee. I'm the Municipal Relationship Manager for Republic Services. It is a privilege and an honor to be able to provide the waste and recycling services here in the city of Garden Grove.
Is that your robot?
That is Murphy, and he's going to be helping me tonight
knocking
with
the
our
walls
presentation.
down, eh?
You're going to have a chance to ask some questions, too.
All right.
That's going to be really good. But as I was saying, it's really our privilege to be able to work in service the city of Garden Grove. And this is an excellent opportunity and a wonderful opportunity for us to come in and just share a little bit about what we do and also, give back to the community. So tonight I have with us Murphy, who is our recycle robot. And he's going to help us with our presentation tonight. Hello, Murphy.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm good.
Very good. We are in the city of Garden Grove, as you know, and if you would like to share with everybody a little bit about what you do.
That's great. I love Garden Grove.
Murphy, can you tell the audience a little bit about what you do to help educate the community on recycling?
Why, yes, Mark. I'm taking recycling the high gear. I'm teaching students how to reduce waste and protect our planet. I go to schools and community events and teach students how to recycle. We watch videos, dance, and cheer. And in the end, students take the recycling sled.
That's awesome, Murphy. So City Council, as you can tell and hear from Murphy, he's interactive and enjoys going to schools and help educate the community. about recycling. But if anybody has any questions, we'll be happy to. Absolutely, Mayor.
Well, just a minute ago, Murphy had one eyebrow on. And now two of them are off. Did Murphy take a nap or?
Actually, I think Murphy was winking at you, but let's see.
That's my luck.
Any questions?
I'm sorry. Could you speak up?
Murphy, the mayor wanted to know if you were winking at him.
Yes, Mayor Broadwater.
That's pretty good.
That's great. Like I say, it's wonderful for us to be able to come tonight and show our appreciation and give a little bit back to the community. So tonight we are here along with Murphy and Dan Kapner, our general manager, to present two checks to the city of Garden Grove. First, we have a check for the city of Garden Grove for $21,356. Which will be a donation to the community programs. So we'd like to present that tonight. In addition, in tradition with Republic Services, we also have another check to donate to the Garden Grove Community Foundation for also $21,356. So it's my pleasure to offer these and donate these.
It's our pleasure to receive that money. Why don't you come on up here and we'll get a picture with those checks showing.
Foundation check. It should be great. There you go, and you guys can share that. And I should get out of the way.
Oh, no, no,
No,
please
no,
stay.
no.
We actually want you in it, yeah.
It'll block you there.
I can't see the
Now, those lips are red on that robot. Sort of like hot lips.
Going 1, 2, and 3. One more. 1, 2, and 3. Didn't
You've
go.
never taken a picture with an iPhone.
1, 2, and 3.
You want Murphy to help you?
Hold on, Mark. Hold on.
I just know what.
Take a bunch.
Oop, it went away.
Did it happen?
We'll get you.
Oh, it's not.
There you go.
They're taking one more. Maybe.
We'll take one.
There you go.
I hit the wrong button.
I could see the mayor before.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Mark. You're very welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks for the opportunity. What do we do?
Put it back here.
Take it home.
Quickly, Kingsley, go to the bank. All right.
Okay, at this time, we're going to go to oral communications, and we're doing that for both the city council meeting and the successor agency. And it's my understanding that we have one, what are we looking here at?
Item 6A, Mr. Mayor.
6A, we're going to call them all the people up from 6A, all the people up from 6A, and then we want you to sing, because there's enough here for a full choir. So,
Mr. Mayor, may I make a comment before related to that item?
okay,
Okay, just to add to it. I just have prepared a few remarks because I believe strongly in this bill. It's related to H.R. Bill 4254, and I'm bringing this item forward and ask the City Council to join me in advocating for the support of H.R. Bill 4254, sponsored by Congressman Ed Royce and supported by other esteemed elected officials. This bill works to identify and impose sanctions on Vietnamese nationals who are complicit in human relations abuses against other Vietnamese nationals. With our support of H.R. 4254, we have an historic opportunity as a city to join the national growing voice against Vietnam's totalitarian rule. we can lend the voice of our own Vietnamese community by telling the President and the Congress that we will not tolerate communist cohorts who deny people basic rights and liberties. Our support for H.R. 4254 will be part of an ongoing thread and movement in Garden Grove. In the past, we've acknowledged and recognized the traditional Vietnamese flag as a true flag that represents the county's heritage, this country's heritage under freedom. We are working to establish a Vietnamese war museum in remembrance for the fight for freedom. We passed a resolution to discourage and restrict the visitation of Vietnamese communist government officials in Garden Grove. And we recently sent correspondence to the President to condemn the aggressive border disputes among communist regimes of China and Vietnam. With all of Garden Grove's past and present efforts, I think we're sending a profound message that we are making it clear and declaring to Vietnam and the entire world that Garden Grove is a communist-free zone. So with that, I'd like to thank you and hope for your support for H.R. 4254. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll start off with Supervisor Janet Nguyen.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm glad that we did away with the singing part, because I would probably scare everybody to death if I had to start singing. Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Council members. First, I would like to thank Councilmember Beard and Jones for bringing this item forward. It is always my honor to come back to Garden Grove. As you know, Garden Grove is still my home, where I graduated at Garden Grove High School, right across the street. I'm here today to ask for the city's support in adoption of a resolution in support of H.R. 4254, which is called the Vietnam Human Rights Act. The city of Garden Grove is home to a large community of Vietnamese American residents, many of whom came to this country fleeing the same oppression that continues in Vietnam today. In Vietnam, the basic human rights of citizens are repressed through forced intimidation and imprisonment. Journalists, bloggers, and peaceful dissidents are unjustly arrested and condemned for simply expressing their opinions. As a county supervisor whose district has the largest Vietnamese community outside Vietnam, I speak for many in voicing our concerns about the continued political oppression which exists in Vietnam today. Though we are geographically far, the human rights violation committed in Vietnam deeply affect Vietnamese Americans in the United States, whose family members are deprived of their basic human rights. In an effort to hold individuals who commit these violations accountable, I had the privilege of working with Congressman Ed Royce in drafting of the H.R. 4254, a bill that seeks to impose sanctions on individuals who commit human rights violations against Vietnamese citizens. The sanctions include restrictions for individuals and their family from traveling to the United States and prohibiting them from using U.S. financial institutions in any way. Under this bill, these sanctions will end when, among other things, Vietnam releases all of its human rights prisoners. H.R. 4254 is the only way to put legitimate pressure on these individuals who have pressure on these individuals for offensive on human rights violation. Because of this, I humbly ask that this council adopt in support of H.R. 4254. As a representative of thousands of Vietnamese Americans in Garden Grove, your support relayed to Congress the importance of passing this bill, but more important, the adoption of this resolution today will also send and continue to send a clear message to the government of Vietnam that the city of Garden Grove continues to want them accountable for their human rights violations. And you will be the first city in the United States to formally adopt this resolution. The County of Orange, the Board of Supervisors, has been the first county, and we adopted it back in April. Again, I urge you to join me in standing for human rights by adopting this resolution, and thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you. Mr. Andrew Doe.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. I miss most of you. I love serving in the past as a member of the City Council here in Garden Grove, and it's nice to be back here and see the staff also. I'm speaking today to seek your support for the adoption of a city resolution in support
of the House of Representatives Resolution number 4254, also known as the Vietnam Human Rights Act. In Vietnam, basic human rights are and have been routinely violated. The people of Vietnam live under constant fear of intimidation and imprisonment just for voicing their opinions. Journalists, bloggers, and peaceful dissidents are unjustly arrested and incarcerated simply because they speak out against the government. H.R. 4254 is one of the few effective tools that we have as a nation in the U.S. to effectuate real change in Vietnam. By passing H.R. 4254, our country will send a clear message that government officials who violate human rights in Vietnam will be held personally accountable. No longer can they hide behind the cover of their national policy. Human rights violation in Vietnam, as elsewhere, should offend and deeply affect all of us, as they violate our bedrock principles of democracy and fair play. We must hold those who benefit from coming into our country and hold them to our same values. H.R. 4254, as aptly summarized by Council Member Chris Beard, seeks to impose restrictions for individuals and their families from traveling to the U.S. It also prohibits them from using any U.S. financial institutions anywhere in the world. Therefore, H.R. 4254 is the only way to put legitimate pressure on the real perpetrators of human rights. And what is unique about 4254 is that it does not interfere with our international diplomacy as a nation. As you know, that is a very sensitive issue around the world with the conditions that we are in now. And so 4254 is a very targeted, measured response that demand action, that demand compliance, and we hold individuals accountable. As the first city to support H.R. 4254, your adoption of this resolution will send a clear message that the city of Garden Grove demands respect for human rights in Vietnam. And I thank you for your time and attention, and I hope that we will get your support. Thank you.
Nick Lacan.
Honorable Mayor, Madam Mayor Pro Tem, Member of City Council, my name is Nick Lacan. I am resident of City Garden Grove and have been for 9 years. I was also previously a City of Garden Grove Planning Commissioner. Currently, I am the owner of Vietlink Radio Station 1480 AM. First of all, I want to take this opportunity to express my appreciation to Council Member Chris Beard, who initiated the city resolution to support the human rights proposal H.R. 4254, which was sponsored by Congressman Ed Roy, Chairman of the House Foreign Relations Committee, with the suggestion of Orange County Supervisor Janet Nguyen. I also want to thank you, Councilman Steve Jones, who offered a second for the resolution. As you already know, the United States and the Vietnamese Communist government are now at the threshold of strategic partnership due to the growing power of China and the assertive action of this country in the East Sea. Vietnam also is looking for military assistance from our country, but in order to achieve the goal, it's imperative that the Vietnamese government understand basic human rights and respect rights such as freedom of the press, freedom of religion, which are the pillar of our country. The HR 4254 will be the reminder for those countries that want to reserve their independence, yet ignore the basic human rights of their citizens. Therefore, I'm asking the distinguished member of this council to support the bill. Thank you for your consideration.
Kathy Wynn.
Good evening, honorable councilmen and women. HR 4254 is a key ingredient to realizing true, positive change with regards to human rights, freedom, and democracy for the people of Vietnam. In supporting this bill speaks volumes of the moral and integrity of the leaders of the city. I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for your honorable contribution to the human rights movement, to this great cause, but more importantly, to raising awareness and taking the necessary actions for the betterment of humanity. On behalf of the Vietnamese American community, thank you for your support in bringing this bill to the forefront and taking part in sending a clear and unwavering message to the oppressors of our values here in this great city. Thank you.
Thank you. Christy Wynn.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Christine Nguyen, and I'm representing the Vietnamese Heritage Flag Youth Group. I'm here tonight in support of HR 4254, the Vietnam Human Rights Sanctions Act. And I'd like to thank the City of Garden Grove for your support in this crucial matter. It is imperative that we must work together to successfully implement HR 4254 because Vietnam today continues to be a huge violator of human rights. The Vietnam Communist Party continues to brutally suppress the freedom of speech and freedom of religion from their citizens. By putting sanctions on these violators of human rights in Vietnam, we can urge the Vietnamese government to release all political prisoners, seize human rights violators, and prosecute those responsible for the abuses. Only then can we work towards a better Vietnam. So once again, I'd like to thank you for your support in this crucial act, and I really hope that we can successfully implement it. Thank you.
Thank you. Dai Pham.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and the council members. My name is Dai Pham, and I came here exactly 21 years ago as a refugee, and I live in the city of Garden Grove. The reason I'm here is to support the HR 4254. The reason is 39 years ago, with the collapse of the South of Vietnam, then the North Vietnamese communists took over the South and the whole country, Vietnam. My country was reddened, and since then the people lack of everything, including the lack of freedoms, freedom of religion and freedom of speech. Anyone who dare to speak up their opinion against the invasion of the Red China, they will be put in prison right away, without trial. Someone put in there for months without trial. And then as soon as they took over the South Vietnam, I was one of hundreds of thousands of former officers and officials of the Republic of Vietnam government who were sent right to the concentration camps for forced hard labors. And we started living there without trial years after years. And I was one of the 20 last prisoners who were released from the prison camp after 17 years. And it is, I want to speak up over here that Vietnam right now under the communists is the most inhuman regime in the world. And that's the reason why I strongly support the H.R. 4254. And I earnestly ask you, all of you, please support this H.R. because that would help to break loose the dictatorial grip on the Vietnamese people right now. Thank you very much for your time.
Colonel Lee.
Honorable Broadwater, the Mayor of the City of Garden Grove, and Honorable City Council members. You have heard a lot of reasons why we have to support the H.R. 4254. I would like to present another point of view. Michael Lind, an American writer who is the policy director of the Economic Growth Program at New America Foundation in Washington, D.C., has published a book called Vietnam, the Necessary War. After 314 pages, proving what went wrong in Vietnam and the necessity of the war, he concludes, I quote, "The Vietnam War was neither a mistake, nor a betrayal, nor a crime. It was a military defeat," unquote. Yes, we lost the war in Vietnam militarily. But the Vietnam War was not a purely military one. It was a combined military and non-military war. The non-military war one is the ideological war. We have been fighting to eliminate the utopian socialism and to consolidate the democracy and freedom in Vietnam. The military war in Vietnam ended in 1975, but the non-military war is still going on. There are about 48,000 Vietnamese Americans living in Garden Grove, the largest concentration of Vietnamese in the nation. They want to continue fighting the non-military war in Vietnam even though they are American citizens. The reason is very simple. They want to see the United States of America continue to be the leading power in the world to fight for democracy, for freedom, and for human rights around the globe. Obviously, we know there are numerous violations of human rights in Vietnam today. The United States cannot close its eyes and ears. We must act and act seriously. And we see that H.R. 4254 will be the right weapon for this fighting. As a representative board of the Vietnamese community in Southern California, while most of the Vietnamese Americans living in Garden Grove, we support the U.S. House of Representatives Bill H.R. 4254, which requires the President to recognize and impose financial and travel sanctions on communist Vietnamese nationals and their families who have been complicit in human rights abuses. The Vietnamese community in Southern California requests the Council of Garden Grove City to vote yes in supporting the Bill H.R. 4254. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, Mia Trong.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Garden Grove City Council members. I am Minh Truong, living at the Garden Grove Yeah, a long time and work with my company at the location at Garden Road City area. So would like to say thank you, and I'm seeing the Garden Road resident. I really proudly and is emotionally for people support for the HR 4254. I hope you guys will support for. Thank you very much, and God bless America.
Malu Mariano.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Garden Grove Council members. My name is Malu Mariano, and I'm a Filipino-American supporting our Vietnamese friends. On behalf of the Asian Pacific Petition Group, I would like to convey our appreciation for your consideration in adopting H.R. 4254. U.S. Congressman Ed Royce, at the meeting with the delegation of Asia Pacific Petition on June 30, 2014, urged for more public support for his recently introduced H.R. 4254, Human Rights Act for Vietnam, seeking stronger sanction for human rights abuses in Vietnam. May I ask everyone in the room supporting H.R. 4254 to please stand up.
I'd like everybody to sit back down, please.
At the same meeting, Congressman Ed Royce also issued the following statement on the matter of China in the Asia-Pacific region. As chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee, I strongly oppose the efforts by the People's Republic of China to unilaterally declare sovereignty over areas of territory in the East China and South China Seas. Furthermore, the congressman urges the Chinese government to respect international law and seek a diplomatic solution to territorial disputes. The international community, particularly members of the association, Southeast Asian nations, ASEAN, must speak with one voice to urge China to cease further aggressive action and negotiate in good faith. The Asian Pacific Petition Group, of which I am part of, is a collaboration of diverse organizations composed of Vietnamese, Filipinos, Latinos, and other communities that are deeply concerned about peaceful relationships among neighboring countries in the Pacific region. And we are dedicated to the adherence of international laws. We look forward to working with you on H.R. 4254 and other peace-building advocacies. Thank you.
Tarina Vo.
Good evening, honorable mayors and council members. My name is Tarina Vo. I'm a resident in Garden Grove. I'm here is because I'm really glad to hear about the HR 4254. So I'm here to support. How many of you have traffic tickets? I would say, what would you do when you get the traffic tickets? Yeah, right. You're guilty. You have to pay the fine, right? And you have to go to school just to get so that you get credit, like good citizens. So you've been punished. You'll be fined. I'm talking about that. It's just something like traffic tickets. Something so simple. It doesn't affect anybody's lives. It's only just affect your life. But you have to, if you violate the law, you have to be fined. You have to be punished or to improve to be a better person. Now we're talking about human rights, but not just only perfecting just a traffic tickets. It actually affects people's lives. It's put so many people in prison, tortured, being abused. On the street, you can just be grabbed at any time, being captured, be imprisoned. That is not acceptable to me. I think that is not allowed. And as an American, I have to pay for a ticket, have to go to school. I believe those people who violate human rights should not be accepted. Those violations shouldn't be accepted. And that's the reason why I oppose the law, anything that, especially that affect those innocent lives in Vietnam. Well, this bill, not only just one way to stop those violations, but also indirectly will protect those innocents who are still in Vietnam, who have to suffer through all these violations. So I do urge your support to get this through. And as you can see, all of those violations, all those reports and statistics that has been reported by Janet Nguyen and all the other people. You have heard about this, but I just would like to say I support this bill and would like to have this up to President Obama and to get that to everyone to know about this. Thank you.
Fat boy.
Good evening, Mayor Broadwaters and member of the council. Thank you very much for bringing this resolution to the city. I'm here to speak out to support the adoption of the resolution to support the HR Bill 4254, which is known as the Vietnamese Human Rights Sanction Act. Just recently, last March, Councilman Chris Phan and we took a red-eye flight to D.C. and worked with the Boat People SOS to talk and work with members of the House of Representatives in raising the awareness of the continuing brutalities and the escalation of human rights violations by the Vietnamese Communist regime. We do not need to look far to see the writings on the walls that they are continuing oppressing the people who are as young as 17 and as old as 70 are put in jails by thousands, simply just because they speak out to defend and to demand human rights and to help other people such as the poor workers and the poor peasants when they lost their properties. The United States government has spoke many times in demanding the Vietnamese communist regime to respect human rights and to improve the human rights condition in Vietnam, but it has not worked. This bill is a very important tool that for the first time, if it is passed, it will be a tool that will help those communist officials accountable for the act. Now, the bill has passed the House. The People SOS, the Boat People SOS and us are working very hard to get the support so that it will be passed at the Senate as well. And by voting yes to support this resolution, you're helping us lobbying the Senate to pass this bill. And once this bill is passed in both houses, we will have an effect tool to help those violating the human rights in Vietnam be accountable. So I standing in front of you to congratulate and urge you to vote yes to adopt this resolution. Thank you.
Andy Wallen.
Good evening, Mayor Broadwater, members of the council. I congratulate you. My name is Andy Whalen, and I am a candidate for Congress in the 47th Congressional District, and I'm here because this is an issue that is so important to so many of the people that I hope to represent. And I stand also in support of the passage of the Vietnam Human Rights Sanction Act, and I urge you to vote in favor of the measure to send our support to that passage in Congress. I think this bill does two important things. Number one, it sends a message to the leaders of Vietnam that their abuse of human rights will not go unnoticed. Their abuse of human rights, Vietnam is regularly recognized as one of the worst abusers of human rights in the world, and it takes note that we have noticed that, and this goes on year after year after year, and it has to stop. And it holds the leaders accountable. It will not let them hide behind the veneer of their official positions, and it holds them personally accountable for what they can do. But that is one message, but I think the more important message is it tells the people of Vietnam, even 40 years after the communists took over, the people of the United States are not silent, and we are aware of their suffering, and that we will be with them no matter how long it takes until they are free. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Joe Dovin.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Council, members of Garden Grove. I'm here with all of our civic and political leaders, as well as community leaders that have spoken in support of a resolution from the City of Garden Grove in support of H.R. 4254. It is sponsored by our distinguished Congressman Ed Royce, who is a friend and a mentor to the Vietnamese community and continue to provide us with leadership on this many issues, including human rights, which is a very important issue, not just for Democrats or Republicans, not just for Vietnamese or Americans, but for all humans. We're speaking to human rights, and the message that we want to send is that those who would deny the human rights of others forfeit their own rights. They will not have the right to benefit from the oppression of others. And that's the message we want to send. And we're all here to do our part. And I want to tell a short story of Vietnamese history when we were invaded. And we've been invaded many times by foreign powers, including China. And in one time, when we defeated them, and the general from China retreated to China, he planted a spear on Vietnam soil and said, when this spear falls, we will return to invade again. And the Vietnamese people who are patriotic, and who love each other, protected their country, and each with a stone would put around the spear until the spear is nowhere to be found. And Vietnam will stand as a beacon of civilized society, and we demand that any government on our soil respect human rights, respect the people that live there. And that's why we're here tonight. Thank you very much.
Ha Mak. Ha Mak. H-A-M-A-C-H. David Huyn Alexandra.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor Bruce Broadwater and Honorable Mayor Pro Tem Dina Nguyen and Mayor Council Chris Bird, Mayor Council Member Steve John, and Council Member Chris Phan. My name is Professor Reverend Dr. David Huyn Alexander. I'm the Senior Pastor and also the General Chief Chaplain. So on behalf of Vietnamese American First Baptist Church and Vietnamese American Brookway Christian Center, and also the Vietnamese American International Baptist Mission Doctor Center. We really support the adoption of the resolution in support of the House Representative Bill HR 4254 for the Vietnam Human Rights Section Act. So we're asking Your Honor to support the adoption of the resolution in support of the House Representative Bill HR 4254. And again, we really thank you very much for your time and for your consideration and for your support. Thank you.
Thank you. I have no more cards for 6A. Would anybody like to speak on 6A?
Peter Katz.
Mr. Katz, will you come up forward?
Yeah, well, I have this audience here, Mr. Mayor and Council. As a former Vietnam soldier that fought for freedom and justice so that we could all be free here tonight and debate this issue, this is not a new issue. This is long overdue for Vietnam. Let's go back and take a look at the history. We have placed sanctions on Iran, Iraq, Russia, Venezuela.
Calm down.
Cuba.
Calm down. Calm down.
I'm passionate about this subject. Laos, Cambodia, Bosnia, and now we're dealing with ISIL and ISA of the Levant in Syria. This is nothing new, defending freedom. Soldiers like myself get involved in these passionate issues because it's what we do. Old soldiers never die. They just kind of fade away, but they get involved in issues. House Bill HR 4254, sponsored by Ed Royce, is just one of many that have tried to get through in Congress in Vietnam. We need to put some pressure on the Senate. Next year is the 40th anniversary of the fall of Saigon. It's about time that we dealt with this issue and stopped ignoring it. And we tend to bury our heads in the sand, and these terrorist groups get worse and worse. Human violations. Now we're lifting people off of mountaintops. We need to help the people of Vietnam. We need to send a message to China, and we need to send a message to Russia. Human rights are the rights of people all over the world. We haven't come very far from the door of the cave. And so 2015 marks the 40th anniversary. I think it's time that all Americans stood up for freedom because this is going to be knocking on our back door if we're not careful. So on that issue, I want to speak. But I want to speak on another issue too.
Hold it, will you please?
Okay. I'll come back and speak on that.
Okay, that'll be fine. We're going to pull up 6A and vote on it right now. The gentleman that brought it, would you like to make a motion, sir?
I certainly would. Thank you, Mayor. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to adopt a resolution in support of House of Representatives Bill 4254, the Vietnam Human Rights Sanction Act.
Second.
We have a motion and we have a second. Any further discussion?
Just one point before we proceed. I know that this bill is a long time in coming, and it's great, and I'm happy it's here. I hope that when it does pass the Senate, that our leadership has the fortitude to actually put it into effect. Because what I foresee is based on the writing, the Prime Minister on down in Vietnam will be on that list. And so unless our government, our leadership at the federal level is willing to take this bill as its heart, this is all just words. So I am proudly saying that I'm going to support it, but I hope if we air this to the federal leadership to please take it on board and do the right thing. And don't leave people who should be on this list off the list just because there's somebody important over in Vietnam. Thank you.
Let's take Miss Wynn first. Should have taken ladies first anyway, so.
Sorry.
I didn't say anything. Sorry. I had one email sent to me regarding this item tonight, and the sender asked me, why is the city council even considering this tonight when it's not a city-related issue? Well, I think it's very related. This country is made of democracy, the state is made of democracy, and the city is made of democracy. And there's a bill that says we need to send a message out that there is no democracy. There's another place in the world that doesn't have democracy, and America can affect change. I think we should speak up, and I support Bill H.R. 4254. That bill basically says that anyone who participates in the oppression of human rights in Vietnam, and if they come here, they will not be welcome here, they cannot bring their money here to invest, and they will not get a visa to come to the U.S. I'm thankful to become an American years ago. And that's because we have generous Americans who saw that people were oppressed, and they want to reach out and they want to help those people who are oppressed. Now that I'm an American, I want to reach out to those people in that country and other country to help them attain democracy. Because until we attain democracy, there is no civil society in this world, and America would not have a strong stand in the world. We're the builder of democracy, and we need to stand up for that, and that's what makes America very strong. And we need to stick up for democracy where there are oppressions. And I wanted to say that I thank Supervisor Janet Nguyen for coming here today, as also former council member Andrew Doe for being here. I thank them for joining in the effort with Congressman Ed Royce, and I fully support H.R. 4254.
Mr. Jones.
Thank you. I just want to acknowledge and thank our County Supervisor Janet Nguyen for bringing this item to our attention and effectively giving us a workup and queuing it up so that we could get it on our agenda and thereby become the first city to adopt such a resolution in this regard. So it's an honor to adopt this, and we're excited to do it.
Anybody else? Hearing none at this time, we will vote. Please take the vote.
Motion received, 5 yes votes.
That's unanimous. We are not through with oral communications, but we are going to take a break. 5 minutes. Yeah, I'll have this thing. Oh, there we go. Peter Katz, I need you to sit down, please. Let's shut those doors, please. Mr. Jones, will you please sit down?
I think she thought we were adjourned. She's talking to that boy.
Okay, Mr. Katz, you can get back up now. I'm just kidding. Hold on just a minute. We're waiting for her. And how's the Central Committee doing tonight?
We're doing really good, but we're Garden Grove neighborhood.
I never read where it was changed. I mean, did you incorporate that name or unincorporated, or I didn't see anything in the newspaper. I watched those corporations very closely. In other words, it's Garden Grove Central Committee. Sounds like the Communist Party, but Garden Grove Central Committee doing business as Olive Garden Grove Committee. Is that it?
The Central Garden Grove Neighborhood Association is the corporation name, and Garden Grove Neighborhood Association is what we busybodies do for the rest of the time.
You know, I will not correct that, but. Where is she? Did she go home? She might have gone home.
Her box.
Peter Katz.
It's kind of quiet in here now. Good evening once again, everyone. I just wanted to correct something that one gentleman said, that we didn't really lose in Vietnam. We may have lost the battle, but the fight against evil still exists, and there is still pure evil in the world, and that's why we have the strongest military fighting force in the world, and we continue to battle evil. There is another bill, Assembly Bill 1453 for the State Veterans Cemetery. I'm proud to announce that that bill will come before the Senate Appropriations Committee on Thursday morning for a vote. And if that vote clears the Appropriations Committee, it will go to the full Senate by the end of the week, and we're hoping to get it to the governor's desk by the end of September. He has 30 days to sign it from the passage of that bill. And tied to that bill, we are trying to work with the city of Irvine to be one of the first cities to address the issue of veterans housing under Proposition 41. And along with that, we've had some inquiries that there appears to be some federal money along the lines of creating a veterans hospital in Orange County. So we're looking into exploring some federal money that would create another veterans hospital in Southern California. I want to talk about the golf tournament. As a member of the Vietnam War Museum of America Foundation, we have our second annual golf tournament on September 24th at the Navy Golf Course in Seal Beach at 5660 Orangewood Avenue in Cypress. Last year was very successful. We raised a lot of money for the War Museum, and we're hoping to do even better this year. So even if you're not a golfer, come out and enjoy the dinner. There's a lot of great raffle prizes and a lot of giveaways. But this museum, you saw this audience out here tonight, we're trying to build the first of its kind educational museum in Southern California dedicated to telling the story of the Vietnam soldier, the migrant, the South Vietnamese soldier, and the immigrant migration to the United States. We need to tell that story so that these kinds of battles are few and far between to be fought for. And you see, we're waiting for people to climb to a mountaintop in Iraq before we come to the rescue over there. We still not learned some of the lessons of Vietnam. So we cannot put down our weapons and go home. Evil follows us, and if we're not careful, it'll be on our own soil. But I want to thank this council, I want to thank this mayor especially, for thinking outside the box, for creating ideas in the city to help capture some of the tourist dollars that Anaheim has been getting for so many years. Building this Vietnam War Museum is just one example. The Water Park Hotel is another example. This kind of innovative thinking of this mayor and this council has moved the city to the forefront of creating a new tourist mecca along Harbor Boulevard, and I just think that this is one of the great ideas. I testified on Tuesday night before the Santa Ana City Council on the streetcar. And the streetcar is a great idea. We'll be coming from 4th Street over to Harbor Boulevard, and there is now talk of connecting it to the one up in Anaheim, up Harbor Boulevard. So the OCTA with Measure M money and Southern California Association of Governments is looking into getting more federal money to make that connection and eventually connecting it to John Wayne Airport. So this is just the first step in a long line of bringing new tourist dollars to this city and to not leave it all in Anaheim's pockets. So really excited about building this museum. I think it's going to be a great feather in the hat of this city, and it's going to give people a reason to come to Garden Grove. So please help support the museum. Come out to the golf tournament. Come to the events. Go to the website, www.vietnamwarmuseumofamerica.com, and learn more about the museum and the war itself, because we need to teach the next generation that freedom is not free. So thank you very much.
Thank you. John Wildsmith.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council, staff, and citizens of Garden Grove. I'm John Wildsmith, board member of the Garden Grove Neighborhood Association. I'm here tonight to announce that we're having a candidates forum for the elections in November. It will take place on Saturday, the 4th of October, starting about 11 o'clock for the mayoral candidates, and probably about 12 or 12:15 or so for the city council candidates. It will take place on Main Street in the plaza, and we're going to.
Is the sun going to be out?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. We've requested the sun
Are we
to
going
be
to
out.
put tents over this or something?
Well, just in case, there's a lot of easy ups that we have at our disposal. Hopefully it will be a nice sunny day, but we'll just have to wait and see, of course. We're going to try and arrange with some of the local restaurants to have some concessions on food and things like that. One of the reasons is we want to hold it on Main Street is to get people coming down to Main Street. Obviously, people that want to come to the forum and hear what the candidates have to debate each other will be one reason. But we also want people to get thirsty or hungry and go into some of our local, watering holes. And we think this is a good idea to do that. It may not be the first of many festivities that we will hold in the plaza there. We're trying to, get people, we're trying to liven up Main Street, and I think we will succeed eventually. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to tell you. Any questions at all, though? I know this isn't a question and answer session, is it? No, that's it, basically. The 4th of October, Saturday, starting at 11 o'clock, and it will probably end about 2:30, something like that, and there'll be food there. The questions, by the way, there'll be two moderators asking questions submitted by members of the Garden Grove Neighborhood Association. All the questions will be respectful, and we hope that everybody will have a personal invitation, by the way, all the candidates. So we hope everybody will be there and have a jolly good time and support more activities in Main Street. I thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Kushin Khan.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members and Dina Win. My name is Ruhina Khan, and I have a suggestion with regards to conserving water, since we're going to have maybe a pretty bad drought. So my idea is that if everyone who uses the water faucet, whether it's the kitchen sink or bathroom sink, if you could just turn it on halfway volume, not all the way, just halfway volume, we would save a lot of water. So that's my idea, and if you could put it on the examples on your website, it's up to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Robin Macario.
Hello, Garden Grove Mayor, City Council, staff, and Garden Grove residents. I'm Robin Marcario. I just wanted to come and speak and ask the public for their help in combating mosquitoes. For the next couple of months is when we have the increase in mosquito population. I'm asking that the public engage and go and look in your backyards, in your front yards, or while you're out walking. If you see any pools of water, be it from a fountain or even the little saucers underneath your plants, that's where water can stand. It's just sitting there getting green and inviting mosquitoes to breed in those areas. They can breed in as small as a capful of water, and thousands of mosquitoes will actually breed in that little tiny bit of water. So while you're out, go in your backyards, search for those little standing pools of water and dump them out, or fix that sprinkler, or change the water that's in your pets. You know, I went out there the other day for checking on my chickens. I've got 4 hens, and darned if that water dish didn't have those little hook-like larvae of the mosquitoes. I had to dump it out and clean it and put some fresh water. It only takes a few days, you know, and those little mosquitoes just find it and start breeding. So go out there and check for any kind of sources of water. Look at your screens. If there's little holes, you know, that's where they come in and they'll bite you. And also stay kind of inside during the early morning sunrise and sunset. That's when the little creatures like to bite you. And the big problem is that they carry West Nile virus. We've had 2 cases here in Garden Grove, unfortunately. So I'm really asking the public to just go out there and check so that we can keep down the incidence of West Nile virus here in our city and then across the county. So if you do come across any of these little sites, like your neighbor has an abandoned pool or something, call Vector Control. That's what Vector Control does. They do mosquitoes and rats and fire ants. That's what we do. So let me give you the number. So go and be a little vector inspector in your backyard. And if you find it or you see it, it's somewhere in the public areas or whatever, give Vector Control a call. Their number is 714-971-2421. I'll say it one more time, then I'll let you go look for those mosquitoes. 714-971-2421. Thanks so very much.
I would like to add what she's saying about the mosquitoes. If you have those round pipes in your fence or something like that that doesn't have a cap on it, put a little shot of Clorox in there, and you will kill them all off. Charles Mitchell.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council and staff. I want to congratulate you on passing a resolution in support of that measure to hopefully create some pressure on the government in Vietnam to cut back on the human rights abuses. The war in Vietnam was tragic for all those involved. Fortunately for Mayor Broadwater and myself, we served at a time when we didn't have to face the difficulties that our troops faced in Vietnam, including Pete. But the thing that we need to think about is that there are a lot of veterans who have faced conditions through the years, through the decades, all the way back to World War II. And next Wednesday, tomorrow, at 11:30, there is a meeting in Costa Mesa at the Community Center. Now, that meeting is the Freedom Committee of Orange County. And we have about 160 members now. We started out with a dozen. And we have veterans from all the decades. And they come to talk to each other. But the main purpose of the committee is for these veterans to go out to the schools and talk to the students and let them really hear the story firsthand from someone who was actually there. And so I'm inviting anyone who is interested in coming to that meeting. Guests are always welcome. If you're a veteran especially, you're welcome to come and talk to these other veterans and listen to their stories. A lot of these veterans are fading fast, won't be here much longer, so very few opportunities left to actually get together and talk to them and listen to them. So, again, I urge you, if you have the time, to come down to Costa Mesa at 11:30, Community Meeting Center, and have a chance to meet these veterans of all the decades. Thank you.
Greg Durfee.
My name is Craig Durfee, Honorable Mayor and Council and staff. Next month is going to be a big month for the state of California. AB 1371 is going to address the 3-foot separation of vehicles and cyclists. And if you've read the Voice of OC, Voice of OC wrote a story about Garden Grove's taking baby steps and about the incidents of tragedy that Garden Grove has challenged. OCTA has a new bike coordinator, and it's going to make it a major effort to announce this in the news. And SCAG, 191 cities passed a resolution for bike safety, and they're going to attempt to get the grant approved and start educating on bicycle operation of safe usage. And I would encourage the school with the Garden Grove School District or City Council, work with them to create a Safe Route School program, which is really essential, an impact team driver program for the youth of drivers. On another note, I'd like to suggest put on the agenda 2 items. One is a youth commission discussion. Santa Ana does that. I have talked to youth. I've talked to some of the council, and basically they're eager to get on board. I just think we need to engage and give them civic lessons and how government works, and it's a benefit to the city. The other one is on the resolution is the building commission code, the green code. They decided that 100 feet was too close, so they decided 200 feet for a bike rack. I see on Chapman, I see bikes hanging on trees, on posts, and we don't have the bike racks, and we can't make private businesses change that situation. So we need to come up with solutions so that we can be destination points like libraries, so that the air quality management can give you free grants for the bike racks, and it needs to be a double hooped, not just single, because the new bikes have got the wing, they can unloosen it and take a bike. And one lady sold 160, 170 bikes in Marin County. So bike thefts are 10% increase, ridership's increased by 10%, and if we want to make Garden Grove reimagined, we need to get the youth involved and reimagine the whole area in terms of recreation activities like triathlon programs where they ride their bike, run and swim, instead of football, because football is becoming a challenge in concussion. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for the staff to engage. By November, have a grant opportunity for the state. If they will put the application in, they can go for another state grant because it's another cycle, and it has to be ready and applied for to get some of the $139 million that's this year. Thank you.
That ends all communication, and at this time we will recess the City Council and go to the Successor Agency.
Thank you, Mayor. We'll call the August 12th meeting of the Successor Agency to order. Madam Clerk, would you like to call roll?
Member Broadwater?
Here.
Member Nguyen?
Here.
Member Fan?
Here.
Vice Chair Beard?
Here.
Chair Jones?
Here. We already did oral communication simultaneously with City Council. Consent items, basically just receiving and filing the minutes from the last few meetings.
I move to approve.
Second.
Call the vote.
Motion received, 5 yes votes.
No public hearings. Do we have any matters from agency members?
No.
Seeing none, we will adjourn back to council.
Okay, let's go to consent items. Mr. Fertel.
Mr. Mayor, you have items 6B through 6H to be acted on simultaneously unless a separate discussion is requested by a council member.
I move the items.
Second.
Call for the vote.
Motion received, 5 yes votes.
Okay, we have no public hearings, we have no commission matters, and items for consideration, none. Let's go to 10, ordinances presented for the second reading and adoption.
Mr. Mayor, item 10A is ordinance number 2853 for second reading. It's an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Garden Grove adopting a negative declaration and approving a plan unit development number PUD 005-2014, changing the zoning designation from R1 single-family residential to plan unit development number PUD 005-2014.
We passed this once. Anybody want to make a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Call for the vote.
Motion received, 5 yes votes.
Chris Baird, what do you got to say this evening?
I want to say it's been a good summer so far, and with the coming towards the end of it, we have our final concert in the park at Eastgate at 6:30, Eastgate Park, and the Answer is the band that's playing. It's a very popular band. I enjoy it myself, and it's because of the Community Foundation that we're able to afford these concerts in the park. So I hope to see a lot of people out there. That's it.
Thank you very much. Dina.
Yes, ditto, Mr. Beard. I also wanted to remind everyone to buy in Garden Grove. That's how we make our economy strong, is to promote our businesses in Garden Grove. Also, I wanted to bring attention to some of the residents that you may be getting scam phone calls saying that you owe the IRS money and there's a warrant for you and they want to come and arrest you unless you pay some money. So if you get that kind of phone call, it's a scam. If you owe the IRS, you will get a letter, a legitimate letter, a notice, and you will have a right to due process, which is a hearing on that matter. You do not just get a phone call and then get arrested. Unfortunately, some of our residents did believe that and did send money and used the Visa card and lost thousands of dollars. And I thought that was important for me to bring up tonight. I encourage everyone to go to a summer concert. It is a very exciting activity, and a lot of our young people are involved in that activity, and they give very good performances. So please come support our young performers in Garden Grove. That's all I have for tonight.
Thank you very much. Mr. Pham.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, along the line with the concert in the park there, you come in about half an hour earlier, about 5:30. We have the Voice of Garden Grove, and that's what I think you're referring to.
Yes.
They're great singers from our community. I really enjoy coming in a bit earlier just to watch them. As far as the water issue, one of our speakers was speaking about that. It reminded me of my 1-minute showers, or our 1-minute shower back in Iraq. What we would usually do is we would turn on the sprinkler, let it shower for about 30 seconds, turn off the water, lather, do whatever you have to do, and then turn back on for 30 seconds to rinse off. And I think that's a great way to go with this environment with the drought that we're in. And lastly, Mr. Mitchell, I'd like to be there tomorrow to support you and to meet all of our veterans. Again, it's at 11:30 at the Costa Mesa Community Center, correct?
Correct.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Jones.
Hey, I just want to announce that our very own Gem Theater on Main Street is just finishing up a very successful performance run of Evita, and now starting next week they'll have a brand new offering of Gypsy. Actually, this Friday night, August 15th, from 6:30 to 8:30, they're going to host, and this is open to the public, but kind of a VIP insider look where you can actually meet the cast and crew of Gypsy, and they're actually going to do a couple little performances of some of the songs that are going to be in the play, which actually will start, I believe, next Thursday. So sounds pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing it myself.
I just want to mention that last Friday, the Post Office Department actually put on an event in the Civic Center Council, and it was about a new stamp that they were presenting. And the stamp was for Congressional Medal of Honor winners during Korea, and we have one in Orange County and one in Garden Grove. His name is Ted Rubin, and Mr. Rubin was there, 90-some years old, and he received honor, a lot of honor that he deserved. He had quite a history. He had been in the Germans, the Nazis, actually put him in a camp when he was about a 13-year-old boy, and he was there for 4 or 5 years before the Americans got him out of there. And he decided that if he could ever do it, he would join the American Army, which he did, and became an infantryman. He became a corporal, something I never acquired, and he was captured by the North Koreans and was in a concentration camp for 3 years. And he was very good about helping other people make out for themselves because he had so much experience of being in a concentration camp. Anyway, he did receive the award. It was fun to be there. The place was packed. I don't know who all put it out, but I'm telling you, it was packed. I enjoyed it very much. We will have another city council meeting in 2 weeks, and come early and show your tattoo. Thank you very much.